like to talk about a more sensitive topic today, and that's reverse racism. The elite in politics and celebrities are using this idea of white in a prejudicial manner. It's very ironic because it's exactly what we were evolving away from in pursuit of Martin Luther King's content of our character, not the color of our skin. Lately, the Rasmussen polls, they surveyed the first 100 days of the Trump administration, and they found that 62% of those that were Hispanic expressed approval. African Americans were about 39%. You have two centrifugal forces. When African Americans and Hispanics are considering economics than their superficial appearance. America is going through a higher education transformation where students are realizing that what they want and need is a place that doesn't stifle their intellectual freedom. Standing out among the few graduate programs that value viewpoint diversity is Pepperdine University's School of Public Policy, where I've taught the last 2 years. Their Masters of Public Policy is both applied and practical, preparing the next generation of leaders to participate in government agencies, the business sector, and think tanks. Pursue your MPP at Pepperdine. Daily Signal listeners qualify for an automatic 50 to 75% tuition scholarship and can learn more at go.pepperdine.edu/Daily Signal. It's go.pepperdine.edu/Daily Signal. Hello, this is Victor Davis Hanson for the Daily Signal. I'd like to talk about a more sensitive topic today, and that's this new appearance or this growing, I would call it reverse racism or a racism that among some left-wing elite black leaders, politicians, celebrities. I'll give you a few examples. Not long ago, Susan Rice, the former top official in the Obama administration, was removed from the Defense Policy Board. That's a group of grandees that advise the Defense Department. They're political appointments. And traditionally, when a new president comes in, they get rid of most of the prior Defense Policy Board because they feel they're partisans. And in the case of Susan Rice, she was appointed in a late appointment by Joe Biden, who pretty much wiped out all of the Trump appointments. So her dismissal by Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth was not unusual. And yet she fired back at him and said he was dumb as a rock and ultra MAGA. But what was interesting, she said white male cisgender. In other words, she attacked his race. And she said her administration would have fired him for the Signal Snapchat scandal. But of course, she was the one that came out on Sunday talk shows and lied 5 times about the disaster in Benghazi, among other things later in her career. But why inject race into it? At almost the same period, we had a number of Afrikaners, I should say a very small number, about 60 people asked for refugee status, felt they had been endangered by black on white violence, which is demonstrable and beyond controversy in South Africa. And Trump allowed them to come in as refugees. And of course, during the prior administration, thousands of people came in refugees. But because apparently they were white, this caused a storm of criticism. And the Episcopalian Church said they would no longer help with refugees because this was racist. Don Lemon went on a profanity-ridden rant about how this is horrible, that these white people were coming in. This is disgusting. You shouldn't be able to do that. Not too long ago, Jasmine Crockett talked about the party might have to nominate white boys, using that boy, that's sort of a deprecatory term that has racial implications. Remember, Joe Biden called 2 of his aides, who were African-American, boy. That's a very prejudicial term to use, and yet she was using it in the reverse fashion for so-called whites. And at the same time she was doing that, another tape surfaced from Ilhan Omar, where she said white men were the most likely terrorists and killers in America. That's demonstrably untrue. So what am I getting at? I'm getting at the elite in politics, and celebrities are using this idea of white in a prejudicial manner. It's very ironic because it's exactly what we were evolving away from in pursuit of Martin Luther King's content of our character, not color of our skin. And apparently they believe, because they're African Americans or they're left wing, that it's okay to stigmatize somebody by their race. But of course, it's not. And here's my point about this entire discussion. Lately, the Rasmussen polls, who have been very accurate, they were in the 2024 election and they are now, they surveyed the first 100 days of the Trump administration, and they found that, contrary to most of what candidly are left-wing polls, that Donald Trump had a positive appraisal by most people. But here's my point. 62% of those who were surveyed that were Hispanic expressed approval. African Americans were about 39%. And Hispanics were higher than whites. So what am I getting at? You have two centrifugal forces. At a time when African Americans and Hispanics are considering economics, cost of living, real issues, and they consider them more important than their superficial appearance, a panicky elite on the left, who, let's be candid, they have been the primary beneficiaries of diversity, equity, inclusion. Diversity and equity inclusion did not help the inner city. It didn't stop the crime rate. It didn't increase the per capita income. It did help a professional class. But my point is this, and while the professional class is obsessed with race and chasing white racist unicorns, the majority of the Hispanic community and a near majority of the Black community have moved beyond the elite. This is going to have political repercussions in the future, because the Democratic Party, the more they pound this tired, weary racial mantra, the more their constituents they think they're appealing to are moving on. Thank you very much. This is Victor Davis Hanson for the Daily Signal. Thank you for tuning in to the Daily Signal. Please like, share, and subscribe to be notified for more content like this. You can also check out my own website at victorhanson.com and subscribe for exclusive features in addition.